Hello and welcome to this short Dota Dragon Knight prequel video, since my first attempt at Dragon Knight for this series went just so damn badly. The game I recorded is mostly just me repeating the phrase, "I don't know what I should be doing," over and over again while dying. To give context to this video, let me talk a little about how I learned to play Hearthstone, a much simpler game, which is not to say worse or easier, just significantly less complex for new players. Like most players new to card battle games, when I started, I thought each player's health was the most important number on the board, because reducing your opponent's health to 0 is how you win the game. Like most players new to Hearthstone, I began with a mage deck, because of the abundance of direct damage spells available. I would often play Arcane Missiles on turn 1 against an empty board, just because hey, that's 3 damage to the face guaranteed. In the same sense, I began around the time the Naxxramas expansion released, and thought Zombie Chow was a terrible card, because it healed your opponent when it died. You see, at the time I didn't understand the difference between the deck archetypes. Now I understand that Zombie Chow would be a bad card in a really aggressive deck, like Face Hunter, but it's a great card to play on turn 1 in a mid-range deck, because that style of play doesn't care about the opponent's health early on in the game. It just wants to gain control of the board, and Zombie Chow will trade 2 for 1 with many other low-cost minions. I understand now that it's better to hold on to Arcane Missiles until it will gain you some advantage to play, even if that means doing nothing on your first turn, because I've learned if you play a card and it doesn't shift the tempo in your favour, then you just wasted that card. And that's where I'm at with Dota. I don't yet know what's going to give me an advantage over the enemy team. I don't know which heroes match well against which others, I don't know which abilities I should be improving each time I level up, and I don't know which items I should be buying, and that's just one part of it. To borrow StarCraft terminology, all those things I just mentioned that I don't know about would be macro level gameplay, keeping up your farm and using that to buy the most useful items as soon as you have gold available, buying up your abilities in the optimum order, knowing when to push and take enemy towers. That's all macro thinking, which should be present in my mind at all times, even when I'm focusing on the other side of things, the micro level gameplay. Micro is getting last hits on creeps, positioning my hero behind my creeps to shield me from damage, firing off items and spells at the right time. The minute-to-minute stuff. During this game, I bought a BKB, or Black King Bar, because the guide said it was a core item for Dragon Knight. BKBs can be used to make you immune to spells for 10 seconds. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but that's the basics of the item. It took me so long to buy all the parts for it, because I was trying to buy a few different things at once, and that was because I kept dying so often I didn't want to be hoarding too much gold. But then once I had it, I forgot to use it for a few fights. The first time I remembered it, it was great. I still died because of my other terrible choices, but I felt like I'd played a lot better, contributing more to my team during the fight. The problem is, most heroes have up to 4 available abilities, plus space to carry up to 6 items, which means a potential 10 weapons in your arsenal during any fight. And so there's a moment of decision paralysis, as I try to remember what I have and work out what would be best to use. And unlike Hearthstone, in Dota, any hesitation can be lethal. Dota is said to have one of the most difficult learning curves of any competitive game, so I have set myself a brutal challenge in deciding to go from single-player story mode games to approach even average levels of Dota skill. So what am I going to do to help myself? Well, to start with, before I go back to losing horribly to easy level bots, I'm going to prepare my build. Over at Dota2.com you can create custom builds for your heroes and load them into the game to highlight the skills and items that you should be buying, thus reducing the mental load in those areas a little bit. And to find out what that build should be, I'm going to do what I did with Hearthstone and watch a ton of games by high level players, look at what they're doing and try to work out why. I might try doing a video where I spectate another player's match where they're playing Dragon Knight and talk through what I think is going on. And then, after all that, I'm going to ask Reddit to tell me what I got wrong. Thanks for watching this, and I hope you'll stick with me on this journey. Nope, not got a single last hit yet. You see, there we go. Unlike last hit bounties, experience points are shared between all nearby allied heroes whenever an enemy is slain. Earning experience points and gaining levels allows you to augment your hero's abilities.